Now, when it comes to the food poisonings and the problems caused by eating bad oysters, it is very rare. Very rare in the sense that there have been very few deaths reported with eating um oysters. Especially only deaths and problems have been indicated only for people who are eating raw oysters. So it's like a it's like a risk when you eat a raw oyster. See, oysters contain bacteria called Vibrio bacteria. There is something called vibriosis. Vibriosis occurs due to two bacteria, Vibrio parahemolyticus and Vibrio vulnificus. See, this vulnificus is the dangerous thing, and that causes severe vibriosis. Vibriosis means infection inside your body, and there has been a case even in UAE where a person, South Korean, he ate oyster and he had to cut off his hand, amputate his hand. Very rare. So they always prescribe to have oyster cooked. Then this vibriosis will never happen. But the problem is, most preferred way of eating oysters is fresh and raw. They just squeeze lemon, and they even say don't squeeze too much lemon, because squeezing lemons doesn't now bring out the juices of the oyster. Oysters which is coming for trade, especially commercial oysters, it's coming from France, it's coming from Mexico, which is coming from so many places, South Africa. There are so many places from where oysters are coming. France is one of the main contributors. Holland is there. So these oysters, after they are harvested from the sea, they are kept in very fresh water. They're not fresh water; it's fresh sea water. And the process is called depuration. Depuration means that they are just allowed to stay in the water, in which the oyster sheds out the harmful substance inside the body by filtering, because it does a filtration, no? And then the water doesn't have any other harmful substances, and the oyster cleans its body by itself. So depuration is done 48 to 72 hours usually for commercial oysters. And one more thing I will tell about is oyster knife and oyster shucking. Oyster shucking means the most difficult part. If you're a skilled person, it just requires seconds. Usually, I'll be showing how I did it when I opened this oyster. Usually, there's an area where the knife has to latch in. The oyster knife is having a severe grip. You have to take care of your hand, and the area where this knife has to latch in, and then you have to pop open the abductor muscles. It's a skillful process, but once you're trained, you can open it so fast. And the main method is that you preserve that oyster in the shell. See, this is this you see the mark is the place where the oyster is attached to the body of the shell. It's called this area. I've cut it, and when I ate it, I cut this part out. This opening of oyster is called shucking, and shucking is actually a process in which the oyster's abductor muscles are open, and a good chuck very well without breaking the oyster, because when you shuck the oyster, there are always grit and mud on the top part of the oyster. So when you put a knife inside and cut the muscles, the knife should not have dirt, because you're going to eat the oyster, and that time the grit and the shell piece will be a problem for the person who's eating. So as it is, this is actually a very fastly made video, because I wanted to show people. I wanted to also try out. I want to take the challenge of eating an oyster, and you have to change your mindset. And it tastes amazing. There's no bad taste to it. It was a good oyster which I tasted. It tastes amazing. Let's see the video how it tasted. And again, as I said, please share the video and subscribe it. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe it and try to share to maximum groups and all who are interested in seafood. And I mean, thank you and have a great day and stay healthy. ഈ ഓയിസ്റ്റർ ചുവേരിയിൽ കിട്ടുന്നതാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഇത് തുറന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അതിനർത്ഥം ചത്തുപോയി എന്നാണ് അർത്ഥം. ഓക്കെ, ഇത് ഇവിടെ യു എയിൽ കിട്ടുന്ന ഓയിസ്റ്ററാണ്. ഇത് ഡിബ ഏരിയയിലാണ് ഈ ഓയിസ്റ്റർ അവർ ഫാം ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ഇവിടെ ഫിഷ് മാർക്കറ്റിൽ ഇതിൻ്റെ ഇഷ്ടം പോലെ ഉണ്ട്. We have salt, lemon, peri-peri hot sauce and salt. The oysters are ready with the condiments also, and this is the burner in case one we are doing with the burner. നമ്മളിത് ഷക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്നത് നൈഫ് വെച്ച് ഷക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്നത്. ഈ നൈഫ് ഷക്ക് ചെയ്തിട്ട് ഇതിനകത്ത് കുറേ മെത്തേഡ്സ് ഉണ്ട്. 3 മെത്തേഡാണ് ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നത്. ഒന്ന്, വെറും ഫ്രഷ് ആയിട്ട് ഓയിസ്റ്റർ വെറുതെ ലെമൺ സ്ക്വീസ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് നമ്മൾ അതേപോലെ തന്നെ കഴിക്കുക. രണ്ടാമത്, അതിനകത്ത് നമ്മൾ പെരി സോസ്, അതായത് ഹോട്ട് സോസ്, പിന്നെ കുറച്ച് ഹിമാലയൻ സോൾട്ട് ഓർ റോക്ക് സോൾട്ട് ആൻഡ് പെപ്പർ രണ്ടും മിക്സ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് ആൻഡ് ലെമൺ, ഇത് 3ഉം ആഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് കഴിക്കും. ഇനി വേറൊരു മെത്തേഡ് ഉണ്ട്. We are trying to crack open, we are trying to shuck the oyster. So initially it popped up, but because of excess dirt I had to take the knife again back, and then we couldn't get the insertion properly and it broke off. But the water and meat was not lost, and we could taste the oyster properly. നന്നായി മറ്റെടുത്ത് എത്ര നന്നായിട്ട് ഇപ്പം ഞാനിതിൽ സക്ക് ചെയ്തപ്പോൾ ഇത് നമ്പർ 1 സൈസ് ആയതുകൊണ്ട് മീറ്റ് കുറച്ച് കൂടുതലായിരുന്നു. അങ്ങനെ വരുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് ശരിക്കും സ്പൂൺ വെച്ച് ഗൈഡ് ചെയ്യാം, വയലിൽ ഗൈഡ് ചെയ്യാം.